sense, but just in his role.
I know what you're saying, though. I know what you mean. I know what you meant.
That's why I get with the fans who say, "Oh, The Last Jedi was the worst Star Wars movie ever." Yeah, they should have gotten.
Yeah, go ahead and watch Phantom Menace again.
So they'll hurt the people.
No. I wouldn't even say Phantom Menace is the worst. Attack of the Clones is the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I do not like. I'll put the fucking Clone Wars animated movie above Attack of the Clones. But and that's not even a very good movie to begin with.
What I was trying to say is all these people are saying, "Well, The Last Jedi is the worst movie ever made." It's pushing an agenda that. Yeah, you guys forgot about the prequels, didn't you? The same ones that you were bitching about before the new trilogy came about. And now you want George Lucas back? You're the most unpleasable lot of fuckers I've ever met.
It's that, and it's our fetish for hyperbole and for superlatives. Well, nothing can be kind of okay. Nothing can be, it could have been better. Everything's got to be either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever.
What I was going to say was...
Nobody knows new...
What I'll jump in on here, because Screen Junkies released their honest trailer for a Solo the week we were recording this. Yeah. I know it's going to be way out of time when people are hearing this, but whatever. They said straight up on the honest trailer commentary tracks, they had 3 people on their panel. And I'd never seen this happen before on a Screen Junkies show. That one of them loved the movie, one of them was indifferent, and one of them hated it. And guess what? They got along and had an actual conversation. I'm like, that's how you do it! That's how you do it!
Now, why can't Star Wars fans do that? Oh, right.
I'm like, this is how you do a conversation.
It's no longer a film series. It's a religion.
Yeah, it's scary. We talked about Star Wars in another episode already.
And you have all these people whining about how they have strong female characters and all that. They're like toddlers that are, just want to take their toy and leave.
Yeah.
So meanwhile...
Yeah, no, honestly...
Meanwhile...
Yeah, let's get out of that.
Speaking of a toddler brain, we have Randal. Jump to the register, we hear the door open, and a mother and son come to the register. And his first sentence was, "Hey, what can I get you little porch monkey?" Looks at his mom. "It's cool, I'm taking it back." And here we go. We're starting
the perfect stinger for that scene.
It really was a perfect stinger. It really is the perfect way to end that whole weird scene of the Porch Monkey conversation. All right, so to get out of this...
Sorry, I just wanted to say something about Randal's character, because he's my favorite character in both of the Clerks films. And that really encapsulates his character, where Dante or someone else will call him on his bullshit, but he will just double down and just not care.
It's so true. It's a true statement.
And, he just goes for it. Endearing, I think, in a certain way.
It's true. He is set in what he wants to do, and he'll do it no matter what anyone says.
He's a man of conviction. As weird as those convictions may be.
Exactly. He does have conviction, and he's not easily swayed. That is the truth. So... we end this weird scene, and we cut to anytime. I think what I love about this movie, especially at this point in the movie, when weirdness happens, just cut to Rosario Dawson, and all is good.
Yeah,
all is good. We cut to Becky in her office.
Dramatic gravitas.
Yes, we cut to Becky in her office, looking at the invitation from earlier, and then she's looking at this really cool frame on the desk. Which, if it's not the caption photo for this episode, it will be on our Facebook somewhere, because I love this photo. It's a frame of her and the guys. It pretty much it's Becky on Dante's back, jumped on his back, which is adorable, and then you have Randal does not wanting to be in this picture, and Elias messing with him with bunny ears behind him. Yeah. If that's not the definition of their relationship, I don't know what is.
This actually brings to mind.
Great little encapsulation.
Oh, hang on, how?
This brings to mind, who took the picture?
I was going to say Stuffed Timer. Personally. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, hold on, maybe they had Jay or Bob do it.
Bob.
Yeah, Jay or Bob did it. Exactly, Jay or Bob. They're out there all the time.
It can't be Jay.
They wouldn't trust Jay with the camera, but they would probably trust Bob.
I would trust Bob. I would trust Bob with the camera.
I would totally trust Bob. No, he's like a Zen master.
Well, Jay would be too frantic. He wouldn't be able to hold the camera still. He'd be way too frantic.
Or he'd just take the picture and then run off with the camera.
Well, true. So, I love the picture. I love this picture so much because it's a good definition of the four of them and showing how long they've actually been working together. I like this. Yeah. And it shows their relationships really, really, really well up to this point. So, we come back outside and look out into movies itself. It's oddly quiet for lunchtime. I want to make a note of that. It's oddly quiet.
They've probably heard about the porch monkey incident.
Probably. Because there's...
Yeah.
Apparently Dante has the time to sit at the table and do a crossword puzzle, apparently. That's really what he's doing, or is it a new puzzle or something? Because it sort of looks like what he's doing. And Becky sits down. And I love this conversation, because this is a trope from, like, sitcoms. But I love this conversation. Because she goes and says, so are you scared about getting married and all? And his response, we're in the middle of a conversation. I don't remember leaving.
Yeah.
That's a sitcom trope. I love it.
That's the lampshade, yeah.
Oh, man, I love that. Because it's almost like a married couple conversation. Like, wait, were we talking about something and I missed it? Like, what happened here? So... This starts up him. This is an honest question. I do give Beck some honest points here. This is definitely a good question to ask, especially the day before he's going to leave for Florida.
Yeah.
At this point.
Now or never, right? So.
And Becky goes and says, "I was just thinking that you were just waiting for some friends to see if you want to go through with the wedding, but asking if you're even ready to get married." I love how straightforward she is. She's so straightforward. Like. Fuck it, I'm just going to be straight up and straightforward with you and not give a shit because I just feel like being honest with you. Because I'm your friend and that's what I do.
Really need that. I think in his own way, Randal offers that, but it's so covered in his Randalisms and him, his kind of like mildly antagonistic occasionally attitude that I think it doesn't get through to Dante in the same way that Becky does. And he really needs that in his life.
You need the female voice more than anything else. I've had a lot
definitely.
of female
both of them. All the men in the film really need her. She's the den mother, whether she wants to be or not.
And one would think it almost feels like she fights it, but she loves it at the same time.
They're a family. Honestly,
it's true.
And they're a weird dysfunctional family.
Well,
the fast food family.
Sorry. Well, Elias honestly needs a den mother. I mean, we see what happened when we left him unsupervised.
Yeah.
True. True. Very, very true. So, and I would like to make it up to people that we will be getting into the second half of this conversation in our next episode, which is by far one of my favorite scenes of this entire movie, which is coming up in the next couple of shows. But we'll get to that. But he does say, I'm not scared about getting married. I always wanted to get married one day. Because that's something okay, so this is judging what we're talking about throughout this movie. And how much does he really want, does he really love, help me, how did name
Emma.
Emma. Does he really love Emma? Or is it kind of one of those things where he's getting married for the hell of it? Is it
that's the thing. This scene is the emotional keystone of the film.
True.
It's the turning point. And the theme of, if you'll permit me to be so bold, I think the theme of Clerks 2, as well as Clerks, and in fact Dante's entire struggle as a character throughout both films, the theme is like totally head on with Clerks because he works in a literal convenience store. His girlfriend is urging Dante's afraid to take risks. He's afraid of failure. It's more convenient for him to stay where he is and blame his lot in life on the store and on Randal rather than take responsibility for his own life. Randal even calls him out on that. And one comes up again where he's with Emma and he recognizes she's a catch, that he's fortunate to have someone like her love him, but he doesn't really love her, or he's not sure that he does. He doesn't feel that emotional connection. So while what he really wants is that true love that we're all after on Emma and rejecting her, he will not have any available to him that are anywhere near as appealing. Of course, but he doesn't really realize that he's got something already with Becky.
It's true. That's a very good point. Kyle, any thoughts on that?
No, he's right.
Absolutely. I agree with you. 100%. I think, and I was talking about this, I think, when the invitation scene happened. And I went and said, at this point, I'm just like, it's one of those things where you said it's convenient for him. It's convenient for him to get married and get out of Jersey and go to Florida. But is it the right thing for him to do? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's finally realizing that.
Not to mention the fact that Emma is clearly the wrong choice for him because she just wants to have somebody to control and
change.
Yeah.
As we've been talking about earlier in the movie. It's so true. And that's...
Well, we all know Emma ends up with Silent Bob anyways.
In real life, yeah. In real life. So that's where we end our 2 minutes, and that's where we have this. I know you mentioned earlier that you saw Clerks 2 in the movie theaters, which is actually pretty cool, because it's a lot of people didn't see Clerks in the movie theater. Clerks 2 you did. What's your history of the View Askew universe, not including this movie?
Oh, God, okay. So back in... Clerks came out in, what, 96, 97, something like that?
Clerks is 1994.
94, wow. Okay, I probably saw it in 96. It was probably on a VHS at that point. Probably watched it on a VCR. It was one of those movies that everyone was talking about. So I would have been like 13 years old, so not even in high school yet. But, you got your friends who have, like, they're like, hey, man, you hear about this movie? Like, I got a copy of it on VHS. I heard it's, like, really, like, vulgar and stuff like that. So, you're a little kid, and you're like, oh, I want to watch that. So I remember watching it with my friend Dylan. We, like, snuck down to his living room when his parents were asleep, and we watched it, trying to not to laugh and wake them up. And, from there I was hooked. It was Clerks was such a... It was like a visceral gut punch of obscene indie punk rock DIY chutzpah. You know what I mean? It was just such a disruptive film when it came out. I remember it was so different. The fact that it was black and white, I know that was done out of economic necessity, but it actually made it a kind of more stark and like nihilistic in a way. It really struck an emotional chord with, a very young, like 13-year-old me. And then, of course, Mallrats. I didn't see that in the theater, I don't think, but I did watch it on like DVD or VHS. I didn't see Chasing Amy till like several years like after Dogma. I had to come back to that. I don't know how I missed that on that. I like Chasing Amy. Let's not get into a conversation. That's a whole other rabbit hole. I think Dogma might be his best film. I love Dogma. And I saw, believe it or not, I saw Jersey Girl in the theater.
Wow, you're one of the few.
It's not my favorite of his films, but I do think that it gets more shit than it deserves, probably because of the whole Bennifer thing.
Yeah, I'll give you credit there. Yeah, true.
George Carlin did a really great dramatic turn in that film, actually, which alone is worth the price of admission.
True.
But I haven't seen a lot of his newer stuff. I kind of would like to. I wonder if that's the last one I saw. What did he do after that? I haven't seen Tusk. I haven't seen
Yoga Hosers, and then there's also.
Oh, I did. Obviously, Jan Star and Bob Strike Back. That was great.
Zack and Mary.
Zack and Mary make a porno, but that wasn't his movie. He directed, but he didn't write that one, so that's a different thing.
Yeah, I did see that. I like that.
He wrote Zack and Mary. Oh, Cop Out. He didn't write he didn't write Cop Out.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Didn't see Cop Out.
But
I've heard mixed reviews.
It's what it is. It's what it is. It's the Bruce Willis. It actually, you know what? His experience on that movie gave him that Bruce Willis material for all his comedy specials. So that also is a good thing. That's a good thing.
That is very true. That's very true. I love hearing him talk about Wild Wild West, though. or Superman.
That is
the
funny.
Giant Spider.
That is very, very funny.
But yeah, I'll put it this way. I haven't seen everything he's done, but I've seen a lot. And most of what I've seen I've really liked, and some of it I've loved. And I greatly admire the bulk of his work. And like I said before, I think he's got such a huge heart, and that's very, very evident in every film that he makes. There's always a message. It's not preachy. Even Dogma is not preachy. That's kind of the whole point of it. But he has an emotional core to all of his films, which is a lot more than I can say for like your average Michael Bay film or something like that, right? Sure. There's an emotional core. There's an authenticity about it. I think, interestingly enough, Clerks 2, I don't like Clerks 2 as much as I like Clerks, and I think that's a popular feeling. And it's unfortunate because Clerks 2 is really the better film from a production standpoint by miles, certainly. I don't think it's given proper credit by a lot of people, I feel like, whereas we had talked about how Clerks was so stripped down and kind of bare bones and punk rock, that's where he was at the time. He was taking a huge chance, right? He paid for everything on his credit cards, maxed them out. It was kind of similar to, I don't know if you guys are Jonathan Colton fans, but Jonathan Colton hit a period in his life where he was like, all right, I'm about to be a father. If I don't take a risk on something now, I'm probably never going to have the time or the ability. So he just like quit his job, put out a song a week on his website, happened to take off, and it launched his career. Similar thing happened with Clerks, right?
Yeah, true. It's a very true point.
with Kevin. So